For centuries, humanity had been the cosmic joke. When alien civilizations first made contact with Earth in the late 21st century, they were fascinated by the strange species that lived there. Humans were small, fragile creatures with lifespans shorter than most other intelligent beings in the galaxy. They had no natural weapons like claws or sharp teeth, and their bodies couldn't survive extreme temperatures or harsh environments. Yet, despite all these weaknesses, humans had something that intrigued the aliens: creativity. When the Galactic Union, a coalition of dozens of advanced alien races, first arrived on Earth, they expected to find a primitive society struggling to survive. Instead, they discovered a world full of contradictions. Humans built towering cities, but fought endless wars over land and resources. They created breathtaking works of art and music that moved even the cold hearts of some alien observers. Yet they also polluted their planet and treated each other cruelly. To the aliens, humans were an odd mix of brilliance and stupidity. At first, the aliens tried to be polite. Diplomats from various alien species landed on Earth, offering knowledge and technology in exchange for joining the Galactic Union. But as time went on, respect turned into mockery. The aliens began to see humans not as equals, but as amusing curiosities. During meetings between human leaders and alien ambassadors, the aliens openly laughed at Earth's achievements. "You call this progress?" One ambassador sneered after watching a presentation about human medicine. "We cured death thousands of years ago." The ridicule didn't stop there. Alien media outlets broadcasted programs mocking human culture. One popular show featured clips of early human space missions, showing rockets that looked like toys compared to sleek alien spacecraft. Another program poked fun at Earth's political systems, calling them chaotic and inefficient. Even worse, many alien races refused to take humans seriously when it came to galactic matters. Humanity was allowed to join the Galactic Union, but only as second-class members. Excluded from important decisions and denied access to advanced technologies. This constant belittling hurt deeply, especially because humans wanted nothing more than to prove themselves worthy. Many people worked tirelessly to develop new technologies and improve life on Earth, hoping to earn the aliens' respect. Scientists built faster computers, engineers designed better spaceships, and doctors found cures for diseases that had plagued humanity for generations. But no matter how hard they tried, the aliens always found something to criticize. One particularly painful moment came during a gala held aboard an alien mothership orbiting Earth. Human representatives attended the event, eager to showcase their latest invention, a device capable of cleaning up ocean pollution within months. As the lead scientist explained how the machine worked, the audience of alien dignitaries erupted in laughter. "Why bother?" one ambassador asked loudly. "Your oceans are already ruined. Just start over somewhere else." That night, millions of humans watched the broadcast live, feeling ashamed and angry. Protests broke out across the globe, demanding action against the aliens' insults. Some called for cutting ties with the Galactic Union altogether, while others urged patience and continued efforts to win respect through peaceful means. Governments struggled to decide what to do, torn between defending their pride and avoiding conflict with far superior powers. But beneath the surface, resentment simmered. Not everyone believed diplomacy could solve the problem. A growing movement known as Terra Ultima emerged, led by Dr. Elena Vasquez, a brilliant astrophysicist who had grown tired of waiting for change. She argued that humanity needed to stand up for itself, even if it meant risking war. "We've spent centuries being ridiculed," she said in a fiery speech. "It's time we showed the galaxy what we're really made of." As tensions rose, so did the stakes. In 2187, the Galactic Union announced the Galactic Exhibition of Progress, a grand event where each member race would display its greatest technological marvels. Humanity saw this as an opportunity to finally prove itself. Scientists and engineers poured their energy into creating the quantum nexus engine, a revolutionary device capable of folding space-time and enabling instantaneous travel across galaxies. If successful, it would put humanity on par with the most advanced alien civilizations. However, when the engine was unveiled at the exhibition, the reaction was devastating. Instead of admiration, humanity faced ridicule once again. "Primitive," scoffed one alien dignitary. "Your so-called engine is laughably inefficient. Even our children could design better." Others dismissed it outright, claiming it posed a danger to the fabric of reality. Some even suggested destroying the engine entirely before humanity caused irreparable harm. Humiliated but determined, Earth's leaders debated what to do next. A faction within the United Nations argued for diplomacy, urging caution and continued efforts to win respect through peaceful means. But Terra Ultima, now stronger than ever, pushed for a different approach. Led by Dr. Vasquez, they believed humanity needed to take drastic action to earn its place among the stars. When the Union issued a formal decree banning all further development of the quantum nexus engine under threat of sanctions, humanity finally snapped. President Marcus Hawley addressed the world in a global broadcast, his voice firm and unwavering. "Enough," he declared. "If peace cannot grant us dignity, then war will carve it out for us." And so, the stage was set for a conflict that would change the course of history. Humanity, long ridiculed and underestimated, prepared to fight back against the very forces that had mocked them for centuries. The question on everyone's mind was simple. Could humanity rise to the challenge, or would the weight of the galaxy crush them once and for all? The decision to go to war was not made lightly. For weeks after the Galactic Union banned further development of the quantum nexus engine, humanity debated its next move. Some argued that continuing to push for peace was the only way forward. They believed diplomacy could still win respect and equality in the galaxy. Others, however, were done waiting. The movement known as Terra Ultima, led by Dr. Elena Vasquez, had grown stronger with every insult hurled at Earth by the aliens. To them, war was no longer a choice, but a necessity. Dr. Vasquez became the voice of resistance. She traveled across the globe, speaking at rallies and addressing world leaders. Her message was clear. Humanity had been ridiculed and dismissed for too long. It was time to stand up and fight, not out of anger, but out of survival. "If we bow our heads now," she said during one speech, "we will never rise again. This is our chance to show the galaxy who we really are." Her words resonated deeply. Billions of people rallied behind her cause, inspired by her determination and vision. Governments around the world began mobilizing their resources, preparing for what would become the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. Factories once used to build cars and appliances were repurposed to construct weapons and spaceships. Scientists worked day and night, reverse engineering alien technology stolen during diplomatic exchanges over the years. Even ordinary citizens joined the effort, volunteering to serve in newly formed space fleets or working in factories to support the war effort. But the question remained: how could humanity possibly hope to win against such overwhelming odds? The Galactic Union consisted of dozens of advanced alien species, each with centuries, if not millennia, of technological superiority. Their ships were faster, their weapons more powerful, and their strategies far more refined than anything humans had ever encountered. On paper, the battle seemed hopeless. Yet, humanity had one advantage the aliens hadn't anticipated: adaptability. Humans were quick learners, capable of thinking outside the box in ways that rigid alien hierarchies couldn't match. Within months, Earth transformed into a hub of innovation. Artificial intelligence systems designed battle plans faster than any alien tactician could comprehend. Engineers modified civilian technologies into devastating weapons. Old satellites orbiting Earth were retrofitted with plasma cannons, turning them into makeshift warships. Even video game developers contributed, creating realistic simulations to train pilots for combat scenarios. One breakthrough came when Dr. Vasquez and her team successfully reverse-engineered an alien energy shield generator. Using data stolen from Union databases, they created a version tailored for human use. Though imperfect, these shields gave Earth ships a fighting chance against the superior firepower of the aliens. Another innovation was the CloakNet system, a device that allowed ships to temporarily disappear from enemy sensors. Developed by a group of hackers and engineers working in secret, it became one of humanity's most valuable tools in the coming battles. As preparations continued, tensions escalated. Alien ambassadors stationed on Earth grew increasingly nervous, sensing the storm brewing beneath the surface. When news broke that humanity was building a massive fleet of warships, the Union issued a formal warning: cease all military activities immediately or face consequences. But humanity refused to back down. President Marcus Holley delivered a defiant response in a global broadcast, declaring, "We will defend ourselves and our planet. If the Union wants war, then war they shall have." The first shots were fired near Mars. A squadron of Union patrol ships attempted to intercept a convoy of human supply vessels traveling to a secret research base. What the aliens didn't know was that the convoy was a trap. Hidden among the cargo ships were several experimental fighters equipped with EMP bursts designed to disable enemy electronics. When the Union ships moved in for the attack, the human fighters struck, unleashing a wave of electromagnetic pulses that crippled their targets. The ambush was swift and brutal, leaving the aliens reeling. News of the victory spread quickly, igniting hope among humanity's ranks. For the first time in centuries, people dared to believe that they might actually stand a chance against the galaxy's most powerful forces. Posters appeared in cities worldwide, emblazoned with slogans like, "They laughed at us once, never again, and Earth will not fall." Music, poetry, and art flourished, inspiring soldiers and civilians alike. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. It was fighting for its identity. Meanwhile, the Galactic Union scrambled to respond. Leaders convened emergency meetings to discuss strategy, shocked by humanity's sudden aggression. Many assumed the attack near Mars was a fluke, a lucky strike that wouldn't be repeated. They underestimated humanity's resolve and its ingenuity. Over the following months, skirmishes erupted across the solar system. Human forces launched hit-and-run attacks on Union outposts, striking quickly before retreating into the shadows. These tactics frustrated the aliens, who were accustomed to straightforward battles fought according to strict rules. Humanity's chaotic approach left them unprepared and vulnerable. One particularly daring operation took place near Jupiter. A small team of human commandos infiltrated a Union supply depot hidden within one of the planet's moons. Disguised as maintenance workers, they planted explosives throughout the facility before escaping undetected. Hours later, the entire depot exploded, destroying vital resources meant to support Union operations in the region. The loss sent shockwaves through the Union ranks, forcing them to divert reinforcements to protect their remaining assets. Despite these successes, the cost of war weighed heavily on both sides. Thousands of lives were lost in the early clashes, including many brave men and women who gave everything to defend their home. Entire families mourned loved ones who perished in the line of duty. Yet, even in the face of tragedy, humanity refused to surrender. Every sacrifice fueled the fire of resistance, driving people to push harder and fight smarter. Back on Earth, debates raged about whether the war was worth the price. Some questioned whether the dream of coexistence had been sacrificed at the altar antagonist. The war between humanity and the Galactic Union grew fiercer with each passing day. Battles raged across the stars, from distant moons to asteroid fields littered with debris from shattered ships. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as Earth's forces pushed back against their alien oppressors, defying all expectations. What had once seemed like an impossible fight was now a relentless struggle for survival, driven by humanity's unyielding spirit. Humanity's adaptability became its greatest weapon. While the aliens relied on centuries-old strategies and rigid hierarchies, humans embraced chaos and innovation. Every loss taught them something new. Every victory gave them confidence to take greater risks. Soldiers learned to think on their feet, improvising solutions in the heat of battle. Engineers modified weapons and ships mid-fight, turning scraps of metal into tools of destruction. Even ordinary civilians contributed, sharing ideas online or volunteering in factories that churned out supplies around the clock. One of the most significant breakthroughs came when Dr. Elena Vasquez unveiled Project Phoenix, a fleet of experimental warships powered by reverse-engineered alien technology. These ships were faster, stronger, and more versatile than anything humanity had built before. Equipped with cloaking devices, energy shields, and plasma cannons, they struck fear into the hearts of the Union's commanders. The first time a Phoenix-class ship appeared in battle, it single-handedly destroyed 3 alien cruisers before vanishing into the void. Word of its success spread quickly, boosting morale among human forces and striking terror into their enemies. But victories didn't come without sacrifice. Each engagement left scars on soldiers, on families, and on the planet itself. Earth's skies were filled with smoke from burning cities targeted by retaliatory strikes. Refugees poured into underground bunkers, seeking shelter from orbital bombardments. Hospitals overflowed with wounded fighters, their bodies bearing the marks of battles fought light years away. Despite the pain, however, humanity refused to break. If anything, the suffering only strengthened their resolve. People worked harder, fought smarter, and dreamed bigger. They knew what was at stake, not just their lives, but their future as a free and respected species. Amidst the chaos, stories of heroism emerged. Captain Arjun Singh, a young pilot from India, became a symbol of hope after leading a daring raid on a Union supply line near Saturn. Outnumbered and outgunned, Singh's squadron used decoy drones to lure enemy ships into a trap. Once the aliens were distracted, Singh launched a surprise attack, disabling their flagship with a well-placed EMP burst. The operation crippled the Union's logistics in the region, giving humanity a crucial advantage. When Singh returned to Earth, he was greeted as a hero, his face plastered on posters and news broadcasts worldwide. Yet, not everyone celebrated the war. Some questioned whether the price was too high. Anti-war protests broke out in several cities, led by those who believed diplomacy could still bring peace. How much blood must we spill? One protester shouted during a rally in New York, "Is this really worth it?" Others argued that humanity had no choice, that surrender would mean extinction. These debates divided communities and strained relationships. But even critics couldn't deny the courage shown by those on the front lines. As the conflict dragged on, cracks began to form within the Galactic Union. Not all alien species supported the war effort. Some saw humanity's resilience as admirable, even inspiring. A faction of neutral aliens, calling themselves the Free Stars Alliance, secretly reached out to Earth, offering aid and intelligence. Their leader, an enigmatic diplomat named Zinara, believed that humanity's fight was about more than pride. It was about freedom. "You remind us of who we once were," she told President Marcus Hawley during a clandestine meeting aboard a hidden space station. "Before we became complacent, before we forgot what it meant to struggle." With the help of the Free Stars Alliance, humanity gained access to critical information about the Union's weaknesses. One revelation was particularly shocking. The Union's leadership feared humanity's potential. Behind closed doors, top officials admitted that humans posed a long-term threat due to their rapid technological advancements and unpredictable nature. This fear fueled their aggression, driving them to escalate the war in hopes of wiping out humanity entirely. Armed with this knowledge, Earth's leaders decided to strike at the heart of the Union. The target was Epsilon Eridani, a strategic star system housing one of the Union's largest military bases. Taking it would cripple their operations and send a clear message. Humanity was no longer a joke. The mission, codenamed Operation Reckoning, required precision and bravery. A small fleet of Phoenix-class ships, led by Captain Singh, would infiltrate the system under cover of darkness. Their goal was simple yet dangerous: disable the base's defenses and destroy its command center. The operation began at dawn. Under the cover of cloaking devices, the human fleet slipped past Union patrols and entered Epsilon Eridani undetected. As they approached the base, tension filled the air. Pilots gripped their controls tightly, hearts pounding as alarms blared in enemy ships nearby. Then, with a flash of light, the attack began. Plasma cannons fired, tearing through the base's outer defenses. Fighter jets swarmed like insects, targeting key structures while avoiding counterattacks. For hours, the battle raged, neither side willing to give ground. In the end, it was Captain Singh who turned the tide. Spotting a vulnerability in the base's shield generator, he led a kamikaze run, crashing his ship directly into the structure. The explosion disabled the shields, allowing the rest of the fleet to press their advantage. By the time the dust settled, the base lay in ruins, its command center obliterated. The victory sent shockwaves through the galaxy, proving beyond doubt that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. News of the triumph reached Earth hours later, sparking celebrations across the planet. Fireworks lit up the night sky, and crowds gathered in streets and squares, cheering for their heroes. Yet, amidst the joy, there was also reflection. People remembered the cost of the war, the lives lost, the homes destroyed, the dreams shattered. They wondered if peace would ever be possible again. Dr. Vasquez stood atop a podium in Washington, addressing a sea of faces illuminated by torchlight. Her voice was steady but tinged with sadness. "Today, we celebrate our strength," she said. "But let us never forget why we fight. We fight not for revenge, but for respect. We fight so that our children can look to the stars without fear. And we fight because we refuse to let anyone tell us we are less than we are." As the crowd erupted in applause, humanity prepared for the next phase of the war. Epsilon Eridani had been a major blow to the Union, but the fight was far from over. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The victory at Epsilon Eridani changed everything. For the first time, the Galactic Union realized that humanity was not just a nuisance, it was a serious threat. The destruction of one of their largest military bases sent shockwaves through alien command centers across the galaxy. Leaders who had once laughed at Earth's attempts to defend itself now scrambled to respond. Panic spread among the ranks as reports poured in about humanity's relentless attacks and growing strength. But the war was far from over. If anything, it became more brutal. The Union, desperate to regain control, launched a massive counteroffensive. Entire fleets of alien ships converged on Earth's solar system, determined to crush humanity once and for all. Orbital bombardments rained fire on cities, reducing them to rubble. Refugees fled underground, seeking shelter in bunkers designed to withstand the worst. The skies above Earth glowed red with explosions, a constant reminder of the cost of defiance. Despite the devastation, humanity refused to surrender. Every attack by the Union only fueled their determination. Soldiers fought with unmatched ferocity, knowing they were defending not just their planet but their very existence. Civilians worked tirelessly to support the war effort, building weapons, repairing ships, and caring for the wounded. Even children contributed, collecting scrap metal or helping in factories. Humanity had become a united force, bound together by a shared purpose: survival. One of the most critical battles took place near Neptune. The Union sent a massive armada to seize control of a key human outpost stationed on one of the planet's moons. This outpost housed a vital research facility where scientists were developing new technologies to turn the tide of the war. Losing it would have been catastrophic. Knowing this, Earth's leaders dispatched a large fleet to defend the moon, led by Captain Arjun Singh. The battle lasted 3 days and nights. Alien ships swarmed like insects, firing relentlessly at the human defenses. Energy beams sliced through space, leaving trails of destruction in their wake. Explosions lit up the darkness, illuminating the faces of soldiers who fought with grim resolve. Inside the command center, Dr. Elena Vasquez coordinated the defense, her voice calm but firm as she directed pilots and engineers alike. Thought at one point, it seemed like the humans might lose. The Union's sheer numbers overwhelmed their forces, pushing them back toward the moon's surface. But then, something remarkable happened. A group of volunteer fighter pilots, many of them barely out of training, executed a daring maneuver. Using cloaking devices, they slipped behind enemy lines and targeted the Union's flagship, disabling its engines with a barrage of plasma torpedoes. The attack created chaos among the alien forces, giving the humans an opening to regroup and strike back. By the end of the 3rd day, the Union retreated, leaving behind a field of wreckage and debris. The outpost was saved, and with it, the hope of continued resistance. Captain Singh emerged as a hero once again, his name chanted by soldiers and civilians alike. Yet, he remained humble, crediting his team for the victory. "This wasn't my fight alone," he said during a press conference. "It was everyone's." As the war dragged on, whispers of dissent began to emerge within the Galactic Union. Some alien factions questioned whether the campaign against humanity was worth the cost. Billions of credits had been spent, countless lives lost, and entire planets destabilized by the conflict. The Union's economy suffered as resources were diverted to fund the war effort. Public opinion shifted, with many citizens calling for peace negotiations. Even some high-ranking officials privately admitted that humanity's resilience had caught them off guard. On Earth, the toll of the war weighed heavily on everyone. Families mourned loved ones who had died in battle. Cities lay in ruins, their streets empty, except for patrols of soldiers guarding against further attacks. Hospitals overflowed with the injured, doctors working around the clock to save as many lives as possible. Despite the hardships, however, there was a sense of pride. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing toe-to-toe with the galaxy's most powerful forces. No longer were they seen as weak or insignificant. They had earned respect not through words, but through action. Amidst the chaos, President Marcus Hawley addressed the world in a global broadcast. Standing before a backdrop of stars, he spoke of sacrifice, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. "We have paid a heavy price," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "But we have also shown the galaxy what we are made of. We are fighters, dreamers, survivors. And we will not stop until justice is ours." His words inspired millions, reigniting the flames of hope in hearts battered by loss and fear. People returned to work with renewed energy, determined to keep pushing forward. Scientists developed new weapons and technologies, while strategists planned the next phase of the war. Humanity knew that the final confrontation was near, and they intended to be ready. That confrontation came at Alpha Centauri, the gateway to Earth, the Union assembled its largest armada ever, intent on delivering a knockout blow to humanity. Thousands of ships gathered in the star system, their weapons primed and their crews prepared for the fight of their lives. Facing them was the entirety of Earth's fleet, bolstered by allies from the Free Stars Alliance who had secretly joined the cause. It was a mismatch on paper. The Union outnumbered humanity 10-1, but numbers no longer mattered. What mattered was heart. The battle began at dawn. As the two sides clashed, the void between stars became a maelstrom of fire and fury. Plasma cannons fired, missiles streaked across the darkness, and ships exploded in bursts of light. Pilots maneuvered their crafts with skill and precision, dodging enemy fire while launching counterattacks. Engineers worked feverishly to repair damaged vessels mid-fight, keeping them in the fray as long as possible. Soldiers fought with everything they had, knowing that failure meant extinction. At the center of the chaos was Dr. Elena Vasquez. She had volunteered to pilot the prototype Quantum Nexus engine into the heart of the Union's flagship, a decision that shocked even her closest advisors. "This is our moment," she told them before boarding the ship. "If we win today, humanity will never be underestimated again." Her mission was risky, but necessary. The Quantum Nexus engine, though incomplete, had the potential to create a catastrophic collapse if detonated inside the flagship's core. With shields down thanks to a coordinated assault by human forces, Vasquez navigated her ship through a hail of enemy fire and into the belly of the beast. Once inside, she activated the engine, triggering a chain reaction that tore the flagship apart. The explosion wiped out half the Union fleet, turning the tide decisively in humanity's favor. As the remaining alien ships retreated, the galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity had done the impossible. They had defeated the Galactic Union. Cheers erupted on Earth as news of the victory spread. Fireworks lit up the night sky, and crowds gathered in streets and squares, celebrating the triumph that had come at such a great cost. Yet, amidst the joy, there was reflection. People remembered those who had given their lives for the cause. They thought about the homes destroyed, the dreams shattered, and the scars that would take generations to heal. But they also looked to the future with hope. Humanity had proven itself worthy of respect, and this time, the galaxy would listen. The war was over, but the galaxy would never be the same. After the devastating battle at Alpha Centauri, the Galactic Union had no choice but to sue for peace. Their once mighty armada was in ruins, their leadership fractured by internal dissent. For the first time in centuries, the Union found itself on the defensive, forced to negotiate with a species they had long ridiculed and underestimated. Humanity, battered but unbroken, stood ready to dictate the terms of their new place among the stars. The Treaty of Seoul was signed aboard the remnants of the Alpha Centauri battlefield, a fitting location for humanity's greatest triumph. Representatives from Earth, led by President Marcus Halley and Dr. Elena Vasquez, faced alien dignitaries who only months earlier had mocked them as unworthy of galactic respect. Now, those same dignitaries sat quietly, their expressions a mix of awe, fear, and reluctant admiration. The treaty granted humanity full membership in the Galactic Union, along with guarantees of sovereignty and equal treatment. No longer would Earth be relegated to second-class status. It would now have a voice in shaping the destiny of the cosmos. As the ink dried on the historic document, President Halley addressed the gathered crowd, both human and alien, in a speech that echoed across the galaxy. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," he declared, his voice firm and steady. "Humanity has earned its place among you, not through begging or pleading, but through courage and determination. We are proud to join this coalition, but let there be no mistake. We will not tolerate disrespect or inequality ever again. Respect us or fear us. The choice is yours." His words sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Aliens who had once dismissed humans as weak and primitive now saw them in a different light. Humanity's resilience, creativity, and sheer willpower had proven that they were more than capable of holding their own against even the most advanced civilizations. Some alien leaders expressed genuine regret for their past behavior, while others grumbled about the humiliation of being defeated by such an inferior species. But all agreed on one thing: humanity could not be ignored anymore. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted in every corner of the planet. Cities lit up with fireworks, music blared from speakers, and people danced in the streets. Posters bearing slogans like, "They laughed at us once, never again," were replaced with new ones, proclaiming "We are stars." Families who had lost loved ones in the war mourned privately, but took solace in knowing their sacrifices had not been in vain. Humanity had risen from the ashes of ridicule to claim its rightful place among the stars. Yet, amidst the joy, there was also reflection. Leaders and citizens alike knew that the road ahead would not be easy. The scars of war ran deep, both on Earth and across the galaxy. Entire cities lay in ruins, their rebuilding requiring years if not decades of effort. Millions of refugees still lived in underground bunkers, waiting for the day when they could return home. Hospitals remained overcrowded with wounded soldiers and civilians, many of whom would carry physical and emotional wounds for the rest of their lives. Dr. Elena Vasquez, hailed as a hero for her role in the war, became a symbol of hope and renewal. She traveled the globe, speaking to crowds about the lessons learned during the conflict. "This war taught us who we truly are," she said during one speech. "We are fighters, yes, but we are also builders. We do not just destroy, we create. Let us use this moment to build a better future, not just for ourselves, but for everyone in the galaxy." Her vision resonated deeply. Governments around the world began implementing plans to rebuild and heal. Factories once used to construct weapons were repurposed to produce housing materials, medical supplies, and clean energy solutions. Scientists turned their attention to reversing the environmental damage caused by centuries of neglect and warfare. Artists painted murals celebrating unity and resilience, while musicians composed songs that reminded people of the strength they had shown during their darkest hours. In space, humanity set its sights on exploration and cooperation. With access to advanced alien technologies and the support of allies like the Free Stars Alliance, Earth launched ambitious projects to expand its presence beyond the solar system. New colonies were established on distant planets, each one a testament to humanity's ability to adapt and thrive in even the harshest environments. Diplomats worked tirelessly to forge alliances with neutral alien species, ensuring that humanity would never again face hostility alone. But perhaps the most profound change came in how humanity viewed itself and how the galaxy viewed humanity. No longer were humans seen as fragile or insignificant. They were now recognized as a force to be reckoned with, a species capable of achieving greatness despite overwhelming odds. Alien races that had once laughed at Earth's attempts at progress now sought partnerships with its scientists, engineers, and artists. Human culture flourished, influencing everything from fashion to philosophy across the galaxy. Even within the Galactic Union, attitudes shifted. Debates about humanity's role in galactic affairs became commonplace, with many arguing that Earth's perspective offered valuable insights into innovation, resilience, and collaboration. Some alien leaders admitted that humanity's rise had exposed flaws in their own rigid systems, prompting reforms aimed at fostering greater flexibility and inclusivity. Slowly but surely, the galaxy began to change for the better. As years passed, the memory of the war faded, but its lessons endured. Schools taught children about the sacrifices made by their ancestors and the importance of standing up for justice and equality. Museums preserved artifacts from the conflict, reminding future generations of what humanity had overcome. And in the hearts of every person on Earth, there burned a quiet pride, a knowledge that they belonged among the stars. Not because they had begged for acceptance, but because they had earned it. One evening, under a sky filled with stars, Dr. Vasquez stood atop a hill overlooking a newly rebuilt city. Beside her was Captain Arjun Singh, now retired from active duty, but still revered as a hero. Together, they gazed at the heavens, imagining the possibilities that lay ahead. "Do you think we'll ever stop fighting?" Singh asked softly. Vasquez smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of distant suns. "Probably not," she replied. "But maybe we don't need to. Maybe the real victory isn't in ending wars, it's in proving that we can survive them. That no matter what challenges come our way, humanity will always find a way to rise." And so, humanity stepped boldly into a new era. No longer the laughingstock of the stars, but a proud, indomitable people ready to shape the destiny of the universe. The galaxy watched in awe, unsure of what the future held, but certain that humanity would play a central role in writing it.